Great, thank you. So now, we always start with the agree side. And remember, I monitor and mediate this process. So let's start with our agree opinion.
So like why, like I just give my details?
Yes.
Okay, so I said that as a holy man and as an older and wiser man, he should have stopped the 24-hour marriage.
Okay, let's just stick with one comment. Could you repeat that one more time?
So as the older, wiser, holy man, he should have had the wisdom to stop the 24-hour marriage.
Okay, so let's go to the disagree side. What do you think of what Cassandra just said?
I believe Cassandra has a great point, but on the other hand, I believe Friar Lawrence had good intentions with his reasons for marrying the two.
Okay, so good intentions. Hey, Carissa, what's your one agree point?
So my agree point was very similar to Cass's agree point, and that he was supposed to be the voice of reason. May I rebuttal James's too?
Sure.
Okay, so James said that he had good intentions, but there's some kind of really popular saying like good intentions pave the way to hell or something. You know, so it ended very, very poorly. He should have told them to wait at the very least until they knew that their love was valid and that it was true. And maybe if they would have proved to the families that their love was true, it wouldn't have been so.
Okay, so he needed to just kind of step in and say, okay,
Yeah.
mediate the process.
Yes.
Okay, Amanda, what's your comment about these agree statements?
Well, it has been a while since I've read Romeo and Juliet. But I said that I disagree because ultimately Romeo and Juliet were responsible for their decision to go through with what they decided to go through with.
Okay, so they didn't have to listen to what he said.
No. And they also didn't have to decide to kill themselves because their lover was dead.
Okay. Let's go back to the agree side. What do you think about what Amanda just said?
So even though Romeo did decide to kill himself, his dramatic actions were a result of Friar Lawrence convincing Juliet to fake her own death as the only way out. When again, he should have been the voice of reason, should have advocated for honesty, should have advocated for coming clean, and instead he said, let's play dead, and proceeded to make the situation more dramatic, which of course people feed into drama, and then they have their dramatic reactions.
So kind of like when you play a fire, you get burned.
Yep.
In this case, they really got burned.
Yep.
Okay, let's go over to Felicia.
Well, I agreed with what Amanda said. I really think that it all had to do with their own personal responsibility, and that, you know, we think of Romeo and Juliet as really young because their ages, but at the time you were considered an adult more so then, and they both were in positions of power. They kind of understand adult ideas and things like that. I feel like they certainly could have chosen different actions.
Okay, but you're saying that the time period that was acceptable for someone at that age to consider marriage?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, any rebuttals on this side about what Felicia just said?
So I would say that yes, the time period did recall that 13-year-olds should marry. Juliet's mom actually married and had her when she was around 13 to 16, somewhere around that age. But her father admits that she is too young to get married and wanted her to wait 2 years. And then she, runs off and is interested in Romeo. And he also stated that let my daughter choose whoever she may choose. She is wise enough to know her own feelings. And then since she does not let him know that, and he actually was pretty receptive of the Montagues being in his house at the party, perhaps if they would have explained it in a sensible way, something different could have happened.
Okay. Now at this point, is anyone feeling that they should change a side?
Me.
Okay. Okay, changing sides. Okay. Okay, Amanda, what caused you, what was most compelling for you?
I think originally I was very focused on this idea that Romeo and Juliet are responsible for their own actions, but then I am remembering how young they are and developmentally, they're impulsive, and I think that they can't be held responsible for their own actions, so to speak. I think they needed that older figure to be that voice of reason, that parental figure to say,
No.
what are you doing?
Okay,
Slow down here a minute.
okay.
So,
So now this is kind of our final wrap-up. Is there anyone else that would like to
Yeah,
support their
my
opinions?
final rebuttal to all of that, I guess, would be the fact that, yes, they are young and impulsive, and due to that, I don't think there's really anything Friar Lawrence could have done to stop what happened. I think no matter what, this outcome would have been the result regardless, due to their irrational love that they have for one another.
Okay. Now, the last piece of this is a reflection. So you always want your students to have the writing piece. So take a second to reflect on your position and whether you change positions or you feel even more convinced that your opinion is correct and why. So take a second to write your reflection. Now that's kind of your exit ticket. Are there any other questions or comments about this before we wrap things up?
I guess I'd like to see that. I can see how Friar can be held partially responsible, but not completely to blame.
Okay.
That's kind of how my perspective
And
is
it made me
shifted.
think about like what alternative paths would they have taken, you know, like if Friar didn't help them,
Mhm.
would they still like be resolute in what they were doing? Like could they have found someone else to marry them? Could Juliet have figured out how to fake her death a different way?
But
Yeah.
it's like kind of the fun thing is trying to imagine if Friar Lawrence would have taken it a different way. You know, you totally write fan fiction about whether they had actually like thought about it. And Friar Lawrence was like, "And guys, calm down. I will chaperone, and we can go to Verona's finest cafe, and you guys can wear masks or something." I don't know, but it would be very fun, and that could be a fun like alternate assignment is in an alternate reality.
Romeo and Juliet in hiding.
Another thing you can do is just assign kids. Like your job is to agree with this statement.
That could be really interesting because the kids have
And
to think.
that way it really pushes them to think
Outside of their
outside the box.
Yeah. definitely.
So thank you for your time. I'll go ahead and collect these and have a great day. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I will send that off to your Google and
And
trim
this
it.
does work.
Yeah.